Hi, my name is Ned Koch. Thanks for watching. This video is for the blog post on the Warp Investor blog. The blog post is the AI capex super cycle, which is a math problem for the S&P 500 because investments in AI in the last few years add up to around 3% of the GDP, if not more than that. And that is just a very large number, which appears to be difficult to compensate for through earnings increases. AI agents are expected to increase productivity in companies. You have the physical AI and you have non-physical AI, which is being used already. And physical AI could potentially increase productivity significantly in manufacturing and transportation activities. Non-physical AI, which are the AI agents that we're seeing today and the next installments of those agents, are likely to have more of an impact in the service sector. And 80% or so of the US GDP is services. So if all of this investment that is being made in AI leads to increases in productivity, one could expect that over time we would see a restructuring of society and the economy so that those increases in productivity will not lead to a decrease in aggregate demand. But if this happens too fast, what will happen is that companies will have if what is being expected happens, companies will have an increase in labor productivity and they will lay off a lot of employees. And that will create a problem of aggregate demand and will reduce demand for the services that are provided by these companies that are using AI to increase their productivity. And that seems to be one of the issues that are affecting the market as I speak. So I'm talking that this video is being created in late February. And one thing happened interesting that happened today that was interesting was that the Dow Jones today was down. The AIT regional banks were down. The aerospace sector, aerospace and defense, was up a bit due to geopolitical issues. The Russell 2000 was down by quite a lot. The Nasdaq was down. The S&P 500 was down. But the VGLT, long treasuries, was up. We have not been seeing this lately, so we've been seeing the VGLT and the TLT move more or less in concert with the VO and the SPY, the S&P 500. And now they seem to be decoupling. And today, we also happen to have news that were not very good. So inflation, producer inflation, the PPI, was quite high. So you would expect long treasuries to actually go down, their yield to go up. Treasuries in general, because of the expectation that interest rates will go up to contain inflation. But the VGLT going up is essentially the market telling us that the expectation going forward is more of a major economic downturn and a major correction that would then lead to interest rates to go down because, if you have an economic downturn, inflation typically goes down significantly in economic downturns. So all of this with tremendous investment in artificial intelligence, and this capex, it has been to a large extent what has been keeping the market, the S&P 500, going up. So we will have to see what happens, but for this investment in AI to pay off, first you need to have an increase in productivity that is almost mathematically impossible to recover within the near future. And you would also have to have maintenance of demand or an increase in demand, which is hard to see how that will happen if the increase in labor productivity will lead to layoffs in the short term. So we have to see what will happen. But it doesn't look like this is in conflict with the most recent, the recent signs coming from the yield curve. So this is the graph that shows what is often referred to as the yield curve. That's the 10-year yield minus the 3-month Treasury yield. The 10-year Treasury yield minus the 3-month Treasury yield. And as you can see, the shaded areas are recessions. And typically the recessions are preceded historically by an inversion of the yield curve and then a non-inversion. The inversion itself is a yellow warning sign. The uninversion is more of a red sign. And so we have this happening historically in the past. Even the COVID recession was preceded by this inversion and uninversion. And in this, what we're facing today, there was an uninversion. The latest inversion was in late 2022. And this is quite a unique inversion. So the curve remained uninverted for a while. And now the uninversion, which is the real red sign, has happened already. And it seems that it may go back down, but the uninversion, it has the pattern of an uninversion that will not go back down. And if this is the case, then based on the past, we should expect a recession to be imminent. So that's what I had for today. Thank you for watching.